Hello students, I am Dr. J.B. Vora and all of you are welcome in our classes of economics. Today we will discuss consumer equilibrium. What is consumer equilibrium? That is that the choice of bundles which provides higher possible level of the satisfaction and utility to the consumer is to be known as the consumer equilibrium, where consumer does not want to go away, known as the consumer equilibrium. For studying the consumer equilibrium, there are available two approaches. First is cardinal approach and second one is the ordinal approach. One by one, we will take to explain the consumer equilibrium. So, there are the two approaches. First is cardinal approach and second one is the ordinal approach. If we take the cardinal approach, few names of the renowned economists strike in our mind. Those are H. Goschens, 1854, Jevons, 1871, and Walras, 1874, and in 1890, the great economics Alfred Marshall. So, cardinal economists used to think that utility can be measured in terms of money, and we can measure the utility. Consumer, if buys anything, he gives money, and this money measured in a unit, and this unit is to be known as utils. So, utility can be measured in terms of money with the help of the unit utils. This concept that H. Goshen, Jevons, Walras and Marshall. Okay, and Walras related to utils. Okay, so this concept known as the cardinal approach, and these are known as the cardinalist. So, what are the assumptions hidden beyond this approach? We will take these assumptions one by one here. First of all, we will have to know the assumptions, then we will discuss the consumer equilibrium with the help of this approach. The assumption is that rationality, it means the applicable of the axiom of utility maximization. What is the meaning of this rationality? It means the consumer is the rational person. He behaves like a rational man, and at given prices and his income, he tries to maximize his satisfaction level and utility. So, this is known as the axiom of the utility maximizations with subject to constraint. It means the budget imposed by his given income. That is to be known as the rationality axiom of the utility maximizations. These are the assumptions. We are discussing here the assumptions of the cardinal approach. From the cardinal approach, we will discuss the consumer equilibrium. So, second, we take perfect knowledge. It means axiom of certainty. There is a certainty, perfect knowledge. Consumer knows all the information relevant his decisions regarding the market fluctuations. That is to be known as perfect knowledge. It means this equilibrium can be studied under the axiom of the certainty. Third, marginal utility of money assumed to be constant. Why it is so? Because earlier they said that the utility can be measured in terms of the money, and money is used to measuring rod. If we are using the measuring rod, money, then scale should be constant. There is no need to be any fluctuations in the marginal of money. If money changes with respect to change in the income changes, then it might be the elastic roller. That's why we assume money to be constant. The marginal rate of money remains constant. And next assumptions, axiom of law of diminishing marginal utility. It means if consumer as far as increases the quantity of the any commodity in his consumptions, keeping the consumption of the other quantity constant, the marginal utility of the related variable goods must eventually decline with every increase of its units. That is to be known as axiom of the law of diminishing marginal utility. Further, we will take assumptions of utility is independent and additive. Utility is independent and additive. It is very important with respect to the cardinal approach that they used to think that the utility of the basket of goods depends on utilities of individual commodities. Utility of the basket of goods depends upon the utilities of the individual commodities, and the total utility which depends of the total goods in the baskets. So we can explain in this, the utility is the function of x1 goods, x2 goods and x3 goods, so on. This shows the additive. Okay, this shows that the utility derived from the x1 is not related to the utility derived from the x2. Utility derived from the x2 is not related to the x3. But if we take the total utility, then the utility derived from x1 will be additive with x2 and x3. It means u equal the u1 x1 plus u1 x2 and plus u2 x3. These are the concept of the utility independent and additive with the help of the cardinal approach. Now we will take two models which will help to understand the consumer equilibrium with respect to the cardinal approach. There are the two models. First is the single commodity use model, and second one we will take multiple commodity use model. First we take single commodity use model. In the cardinal approach, that consumer can buy either X good or can keep his money in his pocket. So if he purchase any goods, then he will be in the equilibrium where when the marginal utility of X is equal to the price of X. This is known as the equilibrium of the consumer with respect to the cardinal approach under the single commodity use model. Here there are the two other further conditions. One is, if marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X, what will be done? And second one is, if MUX is less than the price of X, then what will be done? We will look at here. If condition A, in which MUX is greater than PX, it means consumer is obtaining marginal utility of X commodity is greater than the paying prices PX. So he will increase quantity of X commodity in his consumptions to increase his welfare until this situation is to be set up. Okay, the quantity of X will be increased. The second condition is here is that when the marginal utility of X is less than the price of X, it means he is in the loss. And what will we do? He will actually cut the consumption. He will cut the consumptions of the quantity of commodity X until this condition will be set up. So this is the marginal utility of X equal to price of X. Now here we will take the mathematical derivations of this equation. How it is set up? This is our most universal concept, that marginal utility of X equal to price of X. Whenever you will be asked the consumer where in the condition of the equilibrium, then he will be equilibrium where MUX is equal to the price of X. So now we will take the mathematical derivation of consumer equilibrium. First we take the utility function. Utility function is equal to function of QX. So here, why it is QX? There is the single commodity use model and it is the fundamental model of the Cardiff approach with respect to the consumer equilibrium. That's why we are taking here utility functions, the function of QX. If consumer is buying quantity of the QX with help of the price of X, then the expenditure function will be the PX QX. This is the expenditure functions. Okay. So consumer wants to maximize his utility functions with the help of the maximize the difference between the utility functions with the expenditure functions. So functions of QX minus, so this is the utility function. So utility functions minus price of X and quantity of X. So this is the difference which consumer wants to maximize. This is the difference to get the maximum utility and equilibrium conditions. So here we will take the partial derivative, okay, with respect to the QX, which will be the du dqx equal to, this is the value we put here, and minus with respect to differential of px qx with dqx. So this is the equation number 1. We will rearrange these equations and it will be du upon dqx equal to, here it is the px. So px, this du upon dx is to be known as the marginal utility of X. Then we can write MUX equal to price of X. This will be hence proved with the help of the mathematical derivations of the consumer equilibrium under the condition of the single commodity use model. Now we will take the multiple commodity use model. This is multiple commodity model where consumer will be equilibrium, then the ratio of the marginal utility of X with respect to the price of X is equal to the marginal utility of Y is equal to the price of Y, must be equal to the marginal utility of Z with of its price of Z, and so on, equal to the marginal utility of money. This is the equations which shows the multiple commodity use model of consumer equilibrium. According to this, consumer will be in the equilibrium when the total utility is derived from the spending of the last penny of money must equal to all the goods. That is the marginal of money. This is to be known as the multiple commodity use model. It is also known as the law of equimarginal utility, law of the proportionality marginal utility, law of the substitution marginal utility, law of economy. So this is very useful to explain the consumer equilibrium. This is known as the. Now we will take the diagrammatic representation to explain both of these. Now I have drawn two diagram. First diagram is related to the single use commodity model, and second diagram is the multiple commodity use model. Okay, this is the our equilibrium condition when mu x equal to the price of x, which is seen in this diagram at the E point, where we can observe that mu x equal to the px. This is the mu x of the commodity marginal utility, which is in the diminishing form as far as the consumer increases the commodity of the x commodity, and it is equated at the E0 point where mu x equal to the px. This is the equilibrium condition. Any change in this will not be useful with respect to the consumer's welfare. Let's suppose consumer is standing at and consuming the OX1 quantity of the commodity X, where he is getting marginal utility equal to E1 X1. This is the marginal utility of X, and he is paying for this E2 X1. Price of X equal to E2 X1. So E1 X1 is the greater than from the E1 X1. It means marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X. Now what will the consumer do? Consumer will increase the quantity of the commodity X in his consumption from the X1 to X, where this situation obtained will be established. This is the equilibrium point. Second condition we take, if consumer is purchasing the OX2 quantity, where consumer marginal utility is E4 X2, and he is paying E3 X2. So the marginal utility for X is less than the price of X. Now consumer will cut the consumption of the commodity X to maximize his the welfare, and until this condition will be obtained. This is the marginal of X with respect equal to the price of X. This is the single commodity use model in the cardinal approach. Now we will take the multiple commodity use model, where they are the two goods, and corresponding to these two goods they are the two marginal utility, which is seen in this diagram. That is the mu x for the X commodity, and this is the mu y, which is the for the Y commodity. Equilibrium condition is here E0 and E00, where the marginal utility of X equal to the price of X is equal to the marginal utility of Y upon price of Y. This is our conditions. Now if consumer wants to increase the quantity of the Y commodity from X to the Q2, X to the Q2, the Y commodity, then because the budget constant is imposed on him by his given income, that's why he has to decrease the quantity of the X commodity. So there is a limit. If he can increase this, then he has to decrease this quantity of X. So now he is consuming the OX1 quantity, OQ1 quantity of the X, and O Q2 quantity of the y. Look, this box X2 E00 as Q2 shows the box related to gain by increasing the commodity Y. Okay, and this Q1 E1 E0 X1, this is box related to loss. So the area of the loss is greater than the area of the gain. It means if consumer change any setup from this E0 and E00, it means if he consuming OX1 plus OX2, OX1 of the X commodity, OX2 of the Y commodity. This is the equilibrium point. If he change in this combination, he will be not in the equilibrium, he will be either loss and not the profit. Okay, so this is the equation and diagram shows. If here it is clear that if marginal utility of X by price of X greater than the marginal utility of Y, if the price of Y, then consumer is less spending on the X, the marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X of the Y. The less spending on the Y commodity, it means he started to cut the quantity in the Y and rest of the amount spent on the X until mu X equal to price of X equal mu Y by price of Y. This is the consumer equilibrium with the help of the cardinal approach. Now we will take the ordinal approach. In our discuss ordinal approach. Ordinal approach actually given by Allen and Hicks. Professor J.R. Hicks and Allen and the restructure of the theory of value in 1934 and 1939, value and capital. They said that the utility cannot be measured in terms of the money because it is related to psychological concepts, and then it can be ordered. Preference. Utility can be measured with the help of the scale of the preference. Utility can be measured with the help of the scale of the preference. Noted. So they use two tools to study the consumer equilibrium. First is the indifference curve and second is the budget line. They also, in ordinal approach, indifference curve as well as the reveal preference curve also known, but reveal preference is not, it is strong ordering and not in the certainty. Indifference curve is used in the certainty, okay, and budget line. These are the two concepts will be used. First we take the indifference curve. What is the indifference curve? Indifference curve is the locus of various points. Indifference curve is the locus of the various point of the various combinations of two goods, say Y and X, suppose A, B and C. Okay, these are the various combinations which provide the same level of the utility and the same level of the satisfaction. That's why it is also called the iso-utility curve. So this is known as the iso-utility curve, indifference curve. In indifference curve, the major thing is that its slope, and the slope is to be measured with the help of the marginal rate of the substitution of the x y equal to minus delta y by delta x. Because earlier I told you that the slope can be measured with the help of perpendicular by base. So if we take this is the curve. This is the curve, indifference curve. Okay, and when you will be asked to the measure the slope at any point of the curve, this will be measured with the slope of the tangent. We draw a tangent. This is the tangent. Okay, here at A point, this is the slope, that is perpendicular by base. So the marginal utility of x, marginal rate of the substitution of x for y, it means it is a rate where the how many units of y are to be foregone to get an additional unit of x. This is known as a marginal rate of substitution of x for y equal to minus delta y by delta x. So this can be the tangent, okay, and we can prove that the proponents of the indifference curve thought that they could avoid actually the law of diminishing marginal utility in ordinal approach. Although the law of the marginal utility, the law of diminishing marginality, axiom of the diminishing marginal utility is implicit in the marginal rate of substitution of x or y, and it can be proved with the help of the mathematical derivations that we take that u equals to equality function of x and y, and indifference curve function is u equal to function of x, y equal to k. The k with the indifference curve map will be measured by assigning possible values of the k. So this k is the constant. So this is the total differential, total derivatives, which equals to the changes in the x quantity and changes in the y quantity, okay, with respect to the equals to the marginal utility of x multiplied with the dx plus marginal utility of y multiplied with the quantity of y. If we rearrange, because the total derivatives is equal to be 0, so if we rearrange this, then minus dy upon dx equal to marginal utility of x upon mu equal to the marginal rate of substitution of x for y. So it is seen from this mathematical proof that equation with help the law of diminishing marginal utility is implicit in the concept of the marginal rate of substitutions of x for y. Now we will take budget line. Okay, the second concept, budget line. This is the constant. This is the price line. Okay, this is the budget line. This A and B is the budget line, which is the locus of points of various combinations of the two goods A, Y and X. Those are bought with the help of the given income of the consumer and given prices of the bought two goods Y and X. So this budget constants can be explained, can be denoted with the help of the equation. This is the price of x equal to the quantity of x. If the price of x multiplied with the quantity of x plus price of y multiplied with the quantity of y equal to the budget, we can write here I or m, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, I here denotes your budget, your income, which is equal to the this. Okay, if I we rearrange this, then if we want to calculate this qi, then quantity of y will be equal to I upon py minus px qx upon py. So this is the equation which shows that consumer will be equilibrium if the quantity of x is 0. Okay, if the quantity of x is 0, this is the quantity where the quantity of x equal to 0, then maximum quantity of the y will be about equal to the I by p y. So here I by py. We can change this equation. If we want to measure the qx equal to the I minus con qx py qy by qx. So when qy is 0, if y quantity is 0, then all income will be spent on the x, and consumer can purchase maximum quantity of the x is equal to I by py, I by px. Okay. Now, what will be the slope of this budget line? Here, the slope of the budget line is the perpendicular by base. Then, this is the perpendicular, this is the base. So, I by py upon I by px. So, here it is clear. The slope of the budget line is minus px upon py. This is the slope of the budget line. Now, according to this ordinal approach, there are the two tools, IC and budget line. We discussed here. Now, following are the conditions of the consumer equilibrium. First is the necessary condition, and second is the sufficient condition. The necessary condition is that the slope of the indifference curve must be equal to the slope of indifference curve must be equal to the slope of budget line. This is the necessary condition. It means first order conditions. Marginal rate of substitute of xy, this is the slope of the indifference curve, must be equal to the px upon py. Okay, where it is satisfied, that is the condition of the equilibrium. Okay, and second order, that is the sufficient condition. It means at the point of the equilibrium, the indifference curve must be convex. It means this is the convex. Okay, and downward sloping, the axiom of diminishing marginal rate of substitute of x of y will be found at the point of the equilibrium. Now, we will discuss both of these conditions with the help of the diagram. This is indifference curve. Okay, IC, and this is budget line. This is equilibrium point E, where consumer is in equilibrium, and he is purchasing the combinations of the OY1 and X1. Okay, this is out of budget, not visible, and beyond the budget line, out of this budget line, cannot be achievable. IC2, this is IC1, and this is the IC0. Look at this diagram. At the E point, all these conditions, necessary condition as well as the sufficient, and first order and second order, both these conditions are being fulfilled, satisfied. At E point, the slope of the marginal rate of substitute xy, this is the slope of the indifference curve, is right equal to the slope of this budget line, that is a px upon py equal to delta y upon delta x. This necessary condition is fulfilled here. Now, at here the indifference curve must be convex. It means at here the indifference curve must be convex. This is the convexity at this. So here it is the marginal rate of substitute x or y is declining. If we take this A point and this B point, indifference curve is convex, but look at this, A and B. Marginal rate of subtotal xy is greater than the price of x, price of y. It means the slope of the indifference curve is greater than the slope of the budget line. And here it is the marginal rate of subtotal x of y is less than px upon py. So both these conditions are not fulfilled here. So, and if not the tangent at the equilibrium point, the budget line must be touch tangent the indifference curve. This here, this is seen it here, but here this is intersection. It intersect, it cuts, okay. So the conditions are not fulfilled here, but at the E point all the sufficient and necessary conditions are being fulfilled. That is the point of the equilibrium. Now we will discuss the Lagrangian methods and Lagrangian multipliers. Now we take the Lagrangian method, and actually it is the mathematical explanations of the consumer equilibrium under the ordinal approach. So this is the utility function. U is the function of x and y. This is the utility function, okay. And the budget, this is a constant, is equal to price of x qx plus price of y qy equal to y, which can be written as I minus px qx minus py qy. So each and every consumer wants to maximize this utility function subject to this budget constraints, okay. So this constant which is imposed by the income, given income, okay. So then we will use the Lagrangian multiplier. First this is okay. Second, we multiply this function with the lambda. The lambda actually is the Lagrangian multiplier, and now we will subtract this function from this function. So, and by subtracting this, we can generate the composite function. This is to be known as the Lagrangian functions also. That is the phi, or we can write this is L, okay. Both we can write. Either it can be written as phi or L. This is the composite functions. And this is f x y. This is the utility function minus lambda multiply with this constant I minus px qx minus py qy, okay. And consumer wants to maximize this, the composite functions, to maximize the utility functions by definition equals to the 0, okay. Then take partial derivations one by one with respect to the x, with respect to the y, and with respect to the L. First, differential of L with respect to the x equal to the differential of f with respect to the x minus lambda, and this is the constant factors remains 0, and here it is only px, okay. And equal to the 0. This is equation number 1. And second, differential of L with respect to dy df upon dy minus lambda py equal to 0. This is the equation number 2. Okay. And third, whole these equations can be written here with respect to the, if the partial derivations of dl with respect to d lambda dl upon d lambda equal to I minus px upon py minus px upon qx, px upon qx minus py minus qy. Okay, so these are the three equations, and we will have to rearrange these equations. And if we rearrange these equations, first this differential of f upon dx equal to lambda px, equation number 4, and this differential of x d upon dy equal to lambda py 5, and this, okay, this will be the px qx plus py qy equal to I. This is the equation number 6. Now we will divide equation number 4 from the 5, and this is, what is this? This is the marginal derivative of x. What is this? This is the marginal derivative of y. We can write this here. So the marginal derivative of x upon marginal derivative of y equal to lambda price of x, lambda price of y. Lambda cancel. Lambda cancel. Then what will be the? This is mu x upon mu y equal to price of x upon price of y, or equal to marginal rate of substitute of x, y. This is hence proved from this Lagrangian method that the conclusion either can be drawn from the cardinal approach or from the ordinal approach, identically same. It means the marginal derivative of x upon mu y equal to price of x upon price of y equal to marginal rate of substitute of x of y. Now we can take here the numerical explanation which shows exact how many quantities of x or y must be purchased to remain in the consumer equilibrium. Here we take utility function equal to x power 3 by 4 and y power 1 by 4. This is equation number 1. And if let's suppose the price of x is equal to 6 and price of y is equal to 3 and your income is 120. So with the help of the Lagrangian method, differential of L with respect to the dx, okay, so this differential method we subtract the utility function from the second one, constant functions. Utility function is x power 3 ratio power 4 and y ratio 1 by 4 minus, that is a lambda. Okay, lambda is the Lagrangian multiplier, and this is I. Earlier we know that I equal I minus px qx minus py qy. Here we will write this. So I minus px minus py. So x 3 ratio 4, y 1 ratio 4 minus lambda I, we will put the value of I 120 in this minus 6 x, okay, price of 6 and quantity of x minus price of y is the 3 and quantity of y is the y. This is the written in this form. Now we take the one by one partial derivations with respect to the dx. Then dx, if we take the x, partial derivative with respect to x, then this will come in front this power will come in front of the x, 3 by 4 x. When it is so, 1 is to be subtract from this, okay, and y 1 by 4 minus lambda and price of x, because the partial derivation is to be done with respect to the x, other will be the 0, okay. Now this will be is the 6 lambda, okay. And now if we solve this equation, then 3 by 4 x 4, 3 minus 4. If we multiply this 4 from 1, then this 3 minus 4, that is the minus 1 by 4, and y ratio 1 by 4 equal to, if we rearrange this, then 6 lambda, okay. This is the equation of 1. Now we take the differential of partial differential with respect to the y. Here is the y. This is, we put in under this box. This equation, x power 3 ratio 4, and then this power of the y, because we are doing the partial derivations of the y, this 1 by 4 comes before this, okay, and y 1 by 4 minus 1 minus 3, others will be 0, okay, and minus 3 lambda. So here if we solve this, this will be 1 by 4 x power 3 by 4, and y equals to 4 multiply 1, 1 minus 4 minus 3 by 4 equal to, rearrange this, then 3 lambda. This is the equation of 2. And if we take the partial derivations with respect to the lambda, then whole this figure will be put as the same, okay. Now we will write one by one. First we write this first equations here, then erase. This is the first equation is, so there will no confusion. 3 by 4 x power 1 by 4 y 1 by 4 equal to 6 lambda. This is our equations of 4, okay. Now we will put this equation 2, which is 1 by 4 x power 3 by 4 y power 1 by 3 4 equals to 3 lambda. This is equation 5, okay. Now we will erase this home and put this value with respect to lambda, that will be 120 minus 6x minus 3y, which we can write this 6x plus 3y equal to 120. So this is the equation number 6. Now we will divide equation 4 with equation 5. 3 by 4, if we divide like this, okay, then 1 by 4 will come like this, and x power n by m power m. We can write this x power n minus m. This is the fundamental formula in mathematics which will be used in this of the power equations. Now x power minus 1 by 4 minus 3 by 4, 3 by 4, likewise this, okay, and this 3 and 6 divided by 3 will be equal to 2 lambda, okay, and the y, here it is the y remaining left, so we will have to also do y, this y, okay, y, this power is 1 by 4 minus 3 by 4, okay, equals to 2 lambda. Now 4 will be cancelled and minus plus, then 3x power minus plus, then 4 by 4, it means 4 by 4, and y, this minus is the plus, then 1 plus 3 is the 4, and 4, okay, equal to 2 lambda. So this is in the minus and this is the plus, minus cancel, and this will be 3x invert 1 and y power 1 equal to lambda. Now we take the value of the x from this. This will be the lambda, here it is the cancel, this lambda is the cancel, actually this lambda is the cancel, so this is equal to only 2, this is 2, okay, so y equal to 2 by 3, sorry, the board is very short here, so there is the confusion. We can like this, x invert 2 by 3y, okay, x invert equal to 2 by 3y. This is the x invert, which can be write by 1 by x. So 1 by x equal to 2 by 3y, okay. If we do cross multiplication, then this will be 2x equal to 3y. Now the value of x is equal to the x equal to 3y by 2. This is the value of x which we will put in this equation of this 6. Now our x value has come. X equal to 3y by 2. 6 multiply. We will put the value of x in this. This is the 3y by 2. Okay. Multiply 3y by 2 plus 3y equal to 120. So this is the 3 multiplied with 3, that is the 9y plus 3y equal to 120. So 9 and 3 is the 12y equal to 120. Y is equal to 120 by 12, that is the 10. So here it is the clear. This is the value of y is come. Now this value of y will be put in this equation 6 again to get the value of the x finally. Okay, we show the equilibrium of the consumer, exact purchasing quantity of the x and y. 6x plus 3 multiply the y value is 10 then equal to 120. So 6x plus 30 equal to 120. 6x is equal to 120 minus 30. Then 6x equal to 90. X equal to 15. So here it is the proof that consumer will be in the equilibrium when he will purchase 15 units. 15 units of 15 units of X and 10 units of the Y. Then he will be in the beneficial condition, that is to be known as his consumer. It means that the choice of bundles which provides higher level of the satisfaction of the equilibrium and utility. This is to be known if he purchase 15 and 10 units of the X and Y to subject the budget 120. If his income is 120 and price of X is the 6 and price of Y is the 3. This is the explanation of the consumer equilibrium. Thank you.